What up, is Marcus Dynasty Fun Dads. We have a DeAndre Swift signed jersey. When we hit 2,000 subscribers, we'll be giving it away to one of you guys. So we're going to do winners and losers of week 2 of the preseason here. Now, preseason doesn't matter a ton. Week 3 is going to be a big, huge, information gathering here to see who's going to get cut from the roster, what surprises we're going to have. Maybe you'll hear some people that are saying, hey, this person's a starter or this person is being benched. But we have some winners and losers, and we're going to start right off the bat at the quarterback position. Kenny Pickett, 6 for 7, 76 yards, and a touchdown. He's really showed well as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and this is potentially a loss for Mitch Trubisky, because of the fact that, it looks like Kenny Pickett, being a first-round draft pick, is ready for the next level. And so we understand as a research and documented-based video, basically, that rookie quarterbacks do have a hard time giving success at the wide receiver position. And they have Claypool, they have Pickens, they have Calvin Austin, they have Deontay Johnson. They even have Freiermuth at tight end. They have Najee Harris coming out of the backfield. And he's not going to be able to feed every single one of those players unless he comes out as a Herbert-type basically rookie season, which I don't see that happening for Kenny Pickett. But we do see that there is some bright spots here for the future at Pittsburgh. So I am kind of selling Pittsburgh positional players, even with the news that Kenny Pickett has been, or even the video that Kenny Pickett's been doing well. I still think that a lot of Pittsburgh is in sell mode, and if you can capitalize on this Kenny Pickett to get yourself a better quarterback, a more stable quarterback, I'm doing that in a heartbeat. Kenny Pickett or Kirk Cousins? I'm taking Kirk Cousins. I know I'm a Vikings fan. Kenny Pickett or Derek Carr? I'm taking Derek Carr. Kenny Pickett or Ryan Tannehill? That's where I draw the line, and I'll take Kenny Pickett at that point. But there are some quarterbacks that I'm willing to take over Kenny Pickett in the risk that Kenny Pickett might not become something. This is preseason again. You're not having all these blitz packages, and you don't have these defenses that are fully scheming against one specific player, that quarterback, for an entire week. The next quarterback that was kind of a winner, 7 for 17, 80 yards and a touchdown is not necessarily something to write home about, but is Malik Willis. He just shows his athleticism, rushing 5 for 42 again. So again, if he makes it on the field, he's like Tyler Huntley type. And Tyler Huntley's pretty cheap as well. It's one of those guys that if he makes it on the field, he will be a successful fantasy quarterback just based off his running. He could literally do, if you just doubled this, 160 yards and 2 touchdowns, or even 160 yards and a touchdown, and then you add the rushing, if you, let's say, did 10 rushes for 84 yards, you're looking at a Lamar Jackson type running, and basically a top 12 quarterback, and that is what Malik Willis will give you if he plays. And that's the big thing, is if, because his talent, it's there, but it's brief moments of it, especially when he throws the ball. He has a great, strong arm. I just don't know if he can actually go through specific reads and be a successful quarterback at the next level. I think that, you're talking, he is Lamar Jackson super light. Because Lamar Jackson came up as a much better passer than Malik Willis, and much better even competition, because Liberty doesn't have a ton of competition at the collegiate level, not nearly as much as Louisville did. I guess that's hard to say. Louisville wasn't super amazing either. But anyways, the next winner is somebody that we talked about, Lamar Jackson. Well, he might have a new target, and it is Isaiah Likely. That's his last name is Likely, and it's 8 for 100 and a touchdown. He's just looked great. I could easily see them being in a 2 tight end set with Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and then you have you're going to have Rashad Bateman at wide receiver. This is going to look awfully like 1980s football, I feel like. You're going to be frustrated in your 2 wide receiver sets, 2 tight end sets, and you're going to have running backs that are just going to kind of come in and out with J.K. Dobbins and maybe Gus Edwards or Tyler Beatty, or who knows, maybe they'll pick some other veteran or something up as well. And you're just going to see, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to have a good year. I think Lamar is going to have a good year fantasy-wise. I think Bateman will too, and Andrews. But I think you're looking for a wide receiver too, and it might actually be the tight end too. It might be Isaiah Likely. So somebody definitely to pick up later in your dynasty drafts here is just throw a flyer at Isaiah Likely. And if for some reason Andrews goes down for a week or a couple of weeks, Isaiah Likely could fit right in potentially. Again, now this is all preseason, but this is where we start seeing some of the Darren Waller types. Darren Waller was nobody. He was a wide receiver that converted to tight end and all of a sudden looked amazing, and all of a sudden became a top 5 tight end, which I'm not saying Isaiah Likely will be, but I'm saying that is a potential to, he could be a tight end 16, and you're getting him at tight end 40 or something like that. So it's something to note, and he could be a tight end handcuff, which we don't ever say, but he really could be the fit in for Andrews if for some reason Andrews had to go down. The next winner/loser, we have the Washington backfield. The Washington backfield, Antonio Gibson is now playing on kick return. He wanted to show that he was kick return ready, and then because he was a kick returner, Brian Robinson became the starter for that drive, and Brian Robinson now is known as the RB1. But I actually heard the statistic, and so I went through it, and so every Nick Saban running back drafted at Alabama, drafted in the top 100 picks, has had at least one 1,000-yard season. Well, that's kind of scary for considering that Antonio Gibson is there, and he's been this running back one, borderline running back one, both of his years at Washington, and now we look at him and go, well, is he being supplanted? I just think that Antonio Gibson is losing a ton of value. I mean, you look at 12 months ago, they were talking about Antonio Gibson, at least Ron Rivera was talking about him being the next Christian McCaffrey. That never actually made, like, he was one of my biggest winners of the offseason last year. And then J.D. McKissick became this just annoying nuisance, just extremely annoying. Just was there and just kept stealing all these receptions. And we know that Antonio Gibson was a lot of times a wide receiver at Memphis, with Kenneth Gainwell being the running back there. And it was super frustrating that they just kept using him in the running game, but they would not actually use him in the receiving game, which he's fully capable of. I love Antonio Gibson's talent. I think when you have Brian Robinson, a third-round running back that has enough draft capital to throw a warning up there, and you have J.D. McKissick, I think this running back is going to be a mess, and I think Brian Robinson will probably be overdrafted in rookie drafts. I think Antonio Gibson will be one of the biggest frustrating busts of the year. You're going to see him at RB28, and it's going to be kind of like, well, we kind of told you so. Or RB30, and we'll be like, man, 800 yards and 5 touchdowns? Like, that's just not enough. And so that's why I'm steer clearing for him, especially in redraft leagues, but really dynasty-wise, you're going to have to start. This might even be the time to sell, honestly. Because once they're on the field, and if Brian Robinson shows that he's going to take 30% of snaps or 20% and 25% of snaps, or just steals enough snaps, it's going to look frustrating, and Antonio Gibson owners are going to panic, and he's not going to be worth as much. So that's my opinion here. Losers also, when we talk about RBBC's running back by committee, is going to be the Eagles backfield. The Eagles backfield has Kenneth Gainwell. They have Miles Sanders. They even have Jalen Hurts, which is the RB1 basically on that team. And they have Scott. Boston Scott, 10 for 33, was the RB1 in this preseason for a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, 11 for 46 and a touchdown. I told you about my talent, the love of Gainwell's talent last year, on how I thought he was super talented. I did not like the Eagles situation because of Miles Sanders, who I think is a capable running back, and Jalen Hurts, who loves to steal all the running back running back goal line touches. And then you now have Boston Scott in here that's just going to be an annoying nuisance, a four-headed running back monster. I mean, if you split up 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns via 4 ways, it's going to look ugly for everyone besides Jalen Hurts. And so I'm almost just going to kind of steer clear from this running back backfield. And if there's an injury, I think that's going to help through one of these running backs. But again, right now, I'm just kind of steer clearing. If I had to pick somebody at their current value, I'm probably picking Kenneth Gainwell, because I think Miles Sanders is going to get eaten up a little bit. And I think Boston Scott is going to be just too way inaccurate. You're going to have a game where he has these he's going to be 6 for 20 and 2 touchdowns, and you're going to be mad as a Kenneth Gainwell fan, and you're going to be mad as a Miles Sanders fan, and you're going to be mad as a Jalen Hurts fan. I think that running backfield will be a mess. Another player that is a loser is Michael Thomas, hamstring issue. Already multiple years gone because of an ankle issue, and now you're adding a soft tissue injury in the end of August. Warning, 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 warning. For somebody who traded for Michael Thomas a couple weeks ago, this is an extreme warning. I do not like this injury at all. This is somebody in redraft 2 that I have now been not marking completely off the boards, but they have now dropped 2-3 rounds because of this injury. When you have soft tissue injuries in the end of August, it never ends well. You see players that just do not perform in that season. And so this is an extremely concerning red flag. And so if you're a Michael Thomas owner in Dynasty or in redraft, this is extremely, extremely danger here. And so I am trying to sell, if possible, Michael Thomas, and this is just, it's not going to happen. Chris Olave gets a little bump. Jarvis Landry gets a little bit bump. Kamara gets a bump because he's probably not going to be suspended this year, at least. Do I have any other winners? I think that's it. I was going to say the last winner, but there's no winners. I looked at my sheet, and they're all gone. So this is, again, preseason, so don't overreact too much to what is being done or what is being said. But we do have to just take note of some of these things. Again, there will be more injuries to come, unfortunately, next week when we get into preseason 3. Oh, by the way, Matt Corral, loser because he lost his season due to Liz Frank injury. Also, Tyquan Thornton gone because of a shoulder injury. Not maybe the season, but 8 weeks, which is a lot of the season, half the season. And so, again, these players are moving down in even Dynasty. In redraft, they're untouchable. So, just kind of note those couple players there. And we knew that Matt Corral was probably not going to start anyways. He's going to be the second, third string quarterback. So, again, this is Marcus Dynasty Dads. Peace out. We'll see you again tomorrow.